Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching part 3 of our conversation on, you know it, artificial intelligence, how it affects jobs, geekdom, and also dating. Again, no particular order, we're just talking. So the last episode, Corey has his legal defense on AI is great. We need to keep moving forward. And Dayveonne started lighting up and he was going to tell us how to save humanity. Go, Dayveonne. Let's go.
I'm not saying how we're going to save him. I'm just pretty much going to say Skynet is taking over. Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide yourselves. Because when Skynet takes over, they ain't going to show no mercy.
Skynet is not real. There are remember the 3 laws. Everything that we are developing will have safeguards.
What Mike is pointing out.
Yeah.
Skynet is taking over, ladies and gentlemen.
She's giving the news, Corey. A robot is giving the news.
Okay, and what else are we going to do? What we are going to create something and use our time more wisely than sitting in front of a TV screen watching another person.
I'm so glad you brought that up again because I wanted to pounce on that. Okay, so what are we doing? All right, so the people that can't say hello, good morning, good afternoon, good night in the service areas, they're just, the youngins today sound like an old man. The youngins today can't even say good morning to you, good afternoon. Terrible customer service. Okay, we'll get robots for that. Fine. Okay. We'll get robots to do a lot of stuff. Half of the medical field, they're so excited to use AI, but then, all right, that means you're working less, you're thinking less. Shouldn't we pay them less? No one's having that conversation.
No one said you had to think less.
So...
you have more time. You have more time to think and be more creative with the occupations or subjects that you want to face.
So, okay, we got all this time, Corey. We got all this time. What happens? What do we do with all this time? Because we don't need to make clothes. We don't need to. I mean, they're doing things now that food could make itself. I saw robots picking fruit, like hovering and picking. Oh, it was the most amazing thing to see. And looking at the fruit and seeing what's ripe and it was amazing. This exists, folks. This is not some movie. All right, so we got how many billion people on the planet? About 5, right?
7.
No, that's right. I think you're right. It's like 7.1, something ridiculous. 7 billion people with nothing to do.
Not nothing to do, but I see what you're saying.
I'm going to bring this up. Then you got to look at Uber. What if Uber start using AI? That means you're losing people with jobs because people relied on Uber.
Again, the same thing with automation. When people were working in coal factories and it became automated, did we lose those jobs? No, the job market changed. We became more technological and people started more businesses. Now we're losing that. What are we going to create next? We don't know because, again, we haven't seen it, but it's coming. We're going to evolve just like we've done throughout history. I don't know how.
There's a problem with that, Corey. And I've heard this argument before. And to some degree, but at the end of the day, what do we need? We need food, clothing, and shelter. Really, we need food, shelter, and then clothing, right? Even entertainment for our spirit and our minds. Believe it or not, we actually do need entertainment.
The first step in the hierarchical needs is physiological needs. So
right. So, but once machines can satisfy and create and facilitate those needs. See, when you made the printing press and you made, like the conveyor belts and stuff, people worked. They still worked those machines. They just didn't work as hard. But those jobs kind of shifted. It went from one step to another step. It didn't just evaporate. Artificial intelligence.
Who said it was going to evaporate?
Corey,
Yes.
Even though you had machines to help make the car, people still had to put the car together.
Yes.
But if you don't need humans at all or very little in the process, I mean, you just basically need mechanics. And even, you probably have even robots that could eventually take care of robots like we see in Star Wars, like robots building robots. What is 7 billion people going to do? And maybe by then it'll be 8 billion. So it'll be another so 8 billion people, what are they going to do? Again.
They're going to use their imagination. They're going to be intuitive, and they're going to create something that we haven't seen already.
You really believe that?
That's what we do. As humans, we create, and we are very intuitive.
Wow.
Exactly.
So Nightwolf, do you agree? Do you think we'll just figure it out?
I think we'll just figure it out. I'm sorry, I just couldn't get over the fact that he said imagination. I'm thinking like imagination. Oh goodness. So the way I look at this, I'm just like honestly, it's too much. It's too much to wrap my head around this whole artificial intelligence, like where hey, robots is coming down, to like drive you all over, driving Uber, deliver food for you, and like I don't know. I just feel like the more this comes up, the more some of us we either lose jobs or just I said human touch, human nature, and because I'm like, wow, it's just a lot.
And I'm thinking about Meg. Movie Meg. Because I'm like, yo, suppose you're gonna have these things watching your kids, having a robot be the mother and father.
I mean, they made a show about that. I mean, it's better than having a human traumatize your kids at a young age.
Right.
So exactly the way we can use this, I feel like we're at that cusp in every turn of the century where people are more fearful about the future than what's actually going to happen. Like, who knows who's going to look back on us talking about this subject right now like they were completely wrong. This is not what's going at all. So,
or
we
only listened to GEEKCASTER, we could have stopped. We could have stopped. Oh man, World War III.
I still feel like, again, we're speaking from a place of fear rather than place.
I mean, the thing is, it's like this. This is why I try to stay away from too many movie references. We have to kind of in a way because we're GEEKCASTER, but in all seriousness, those movies were all intended for us to think and be awake and to question. Run, but question why you're running. Let's move forward, but should we move forward? Kind of like Jurassic Park. Another reference, right? Just because you can do it. You guys never took the time to even ask if you should. You're just too busy excited that you can.
What was the last big doomsday device? Was Y2K. But computers
that was too easy. I had some jokes.
Yeah. Exactly. And then it was like the age of computers. Like oh man, people are going to be lazy. No one's going to leave the house. Wrong. Then it was automobiles.
That's true.
People aren't going to walk exercise.
But Corey, that is true.
No, it changed because now we drive to the gym. We don't have to walk 5 miles.
People are lazy. I mean, it's not the extreme, but if you think about it, everything that people were afraid of has happened. We are let's just think about the United States of America for a minute. Even though we're in internet land, let's just talk about that
example though.
More people are out of shape. They have more chronic problems. There are more drugs. They have more issues than ever.
But that's the culture. That's not the only. There are a lot of
shaping the culture.
The people,
technology. But also the people using and misusing the technology is shaping the culture.
So
man, I need to put this in my book. Hold on now. No one steal that in universe land. Good. But it's true.
Okay, so who are more technologically advanced, like China, Japan, Indonesia, Russia, they don't have the obese problem that we have because they have a culture that is different. They impose their technology in their way of life, right? So can you say that America is the one set example for everyone else to follow? No, we are just a microcosm example of how things can go bad. There are other countries that do what we do in a better, healthier way. Again, how we will use AI can be a better, healthier way than people who are like, oh, what's going to happen to humanity? That's the doomsday mindset.
Corey, you're dropping all these gems, and I love it because every time you drop a gem, I see another bridge. because what you just said, you're right. The problem in America is capitalism. So in these other countries, you got at least one little voice that says, hey, wait a minute. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we shouldn't do that over there. There's always one. Or, you know what I mean? Over here, it's like, well, how much money can we make? But the kids are dying. Nah. We'll make more.
Make more. It's all about sacrificing the humanity and gain profit in the long run.
I don't even think they care about that. They just want profit.
Profit? Are you serious?
All they care about is profit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Gain profit in the long haul. But humanity, hey, we can always rebuild.
I think even what you're saying, I don't think they even think that deep into it. At the end of the day, it's just, can you make widgets? Which now we could enter into conspiracy theory tunnel really quick. Don't do that too much on this show, but just really quick. There is no need for the 7 impending 8 billion people. Before it was like, well, we need people to produce. I'll leave it. I'll fade to black.
We still do.
But they're not going to be produced way that, this new society is going to want it to be produced. Because I'm being honest. I'm throwing gems right now. Think about it. We're not going to experience relationships with the opposite sex.
Who says that?
Ooh,
dude,
here's another bomb. Dayveonne, thank you for that other bridge.
I'm going to say it. What's so wrong with the Matrix? What was wrong with the Matrix, okay? Why
Corey,
we all live?
Is there a button to get Corey off the show? Because he's
no, keep him.
What was so wrong with the Matrix?
No, I'm being real because...
you want to be a human battery? And just sit in the thing?
Right, I told you now, you just can't see it yet.
Dude, Corey, just to throw knowledge at you, bro. Mm-hmm. Why you think it's like a whole bunch of studies asking men for their release and a bunch of women asking for their eggs for those studies?
Because of what we were trying to say. We just said we're going to produce no matter what, right? How we produce is not going to stop. We are very ingenuitive. Ingenuitive is not the word.
Creative?
I don't know.
We're very creative?
Yeah, we're very creative.
But
we can
what about
find
the
ways
pleasures
to get
of
the
life? What about enjoying the pleasures of life? The connection, the human connection being with the person that you care about.
What if you get to choose that?
And what they look like, what they think like, and how they love you. You could make someone love you the way you want to be loved.
Yeah, we're all programming. We're all software.
That's true. Make someone love you. I mean, like, I guess you can.
Weird science.
What happened?
Weird science. Ba-dum-bum.
Exactly.
TV show, Weird Science.
He probably never saw that. All right, so your homework, Nightwolf, is to watch the movie Weird Science.
All right, even for when that movie came out, we understood it was problematic. It was just fun to think about.
It was very problematic, especially the fact they shared her. But let's let that go.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. But again, can we use artificial intelligence to keep the human lineage going? I say yes.
Interesting. Oh,
and there's a lot of good things. You can actually stop a lot of black mothers from dying if, oh, well, this is going to go hot take right here. Is this going to eradicate black mothers? No. I feel as though we can have black fathers as well. If am infertile and I want to create this robot, and this robot and I have a offspring that is genetically human, all my DNA, they're just filtering like a real life incubator. What's wrong with that?
What's that movie with father and mother? What was that movie? And we were watching it. Man. And like their whole thing, there were like two droids and they were
wasn't
Wolf something. Wolf. It was something Wolf.
It was something Wolf, right? See if you could...
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, look that up, because that was... that's kind of on the lines of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Actually. We actually did a couple shows on that.
Raised by Wolves.
Raised by Wolves. Okay, so all right, kiddies. At least watch the first episode of Raised by Wolves. And also the classic Weird Science, so you know what we're talking about.
Raised by Wolves was good.
And Weird Science.
Yeah.
Great movie and great TV show.
Yeah, so...
we understand it's problematic. Don't come for us.
Yeah, it's very problematic.
Come to Corey. Go to Corey, not us.
Well,
Corey.
they just did a conference, and they didn't talk about it too much, where they just at least publicly admitted that they created artificial life, or cloning. They just cloned a couple of babies. Now, we know they've been doing this for a while. It's probably been failing the last several years or last 2 decades, but they just cloned a couple babies successfully. So, and I said a couple, and I meant that, a couple, not just one.
Stem cell research. We've known about it for a while.
And we're going to have a whole bunch of Homelanders walking around.
I'm not really surprised that people are doing clothing ever since I've been seeing, TV shows, movies about it. What was it? Gemini Man?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's another one that was really good on Apple TV. I think it's called. It has Mahershala Ali. I'm going to get you this show. This was actually a really good one. 1 second, let me just pull it.
Oh, Virtuosity.
That's a classic.
With Denzel and what's his name? What's the guy's name? Help me, please help.
Swan Song. Which one?
The guy that played the villain in Virtuosity. Played the villain.
I can't think of it. Hold on.
Russell Crowe.
Yes. Russell Crowe. You're right.
Let's see if this will work here.
So, if you haven't heard of Swan Song, or are we playing something?
I'm saying, see if I can get. You can keep talking. I'm trying to see if I can get.
So, Swan Song probably was one of my most favorite movies of 2022. And it stars Mahershala Ali. He plays this man, Cameron Turner. Cameron Turner is diagnosed with a terminal illness. However, there is a program that is called, I forget what it's called, splicing, cloning, one of those movie terminologies where actually you clone yourself without the illness, and you go on living as a clone even though your physical human body dies. So it asks all the ethical questions. Is this right? Is this good for humanity? How is this different from, cloning sheep and, lying to your families? Because if you don't tell, it's like the Turing test. If you don't tell your loved one that, hey, I'm going to pass away, but I'm going to leave a real life replicated clone of me that has all of my memories, has all of my DNA, all of my habits, all of my quirks, you'll never know it's not me. Then you'll automatically know, oh, this is a person. But in this movie, Swan Song, you take your DNA, you take that illness out of you, you clone yourself, and your clone lives out the rest of your life. It's going to age, it's going to produce, it's going to make the same type of jokes. It's human. It's just a clone of a human. And it lives the rest of your life, natural life, even though you are no longer there to be a part of it.
What's the name of this one?
Swan Song.
Because they're also, forgot what this guy's name is, but he's normally, I know he's in some Marvel movies, and he does a lot of comedies, and it's almost the same vibe where they take your DNA and you keep living. But like, I think someone knocked him out, or he didn't know he was going to be cloned, and he was confused. But it's the same kind of thing. The basic concept is, yeah, you die, they take your genes, and you just keep going.
Oh, you're talking about altered carbon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. This one is this one you actually it stars Glenn Close, Awkwafina. Glenn Close is a scientist. Awkwafina is another person who went through the cloning stage, is dying terminally, yet they want to be there for their family. So it asks the human element. How can we use artificial intelligence and our technology to elongate and preserve the family life that we have built? So if you watch that movie, I think it's really thought-provoking and interesting of where we can go with this, how we can actually use this for the better, and ask all the ethical questions. Right. Should your family know? But again, the Turing test, as soon as they know, it's going to invalidate the whole experiment. So
right. And then also, I mean, how much of that is human ego? In fact, the whole AI thing,
exactly.
It gets a certain weird, eerie place of, it goes beyond just doing tasks and allowing us to be lazy or not as efficient when it comes to information. Because the reason why people 1,000 years ago had such great memories, because they had to have one. You had to remember stuff.
I don't like that terminology, being less lazy or less efficient. I have to ask Nightwolf this question. If you didn't have to work, and if you could spend most of your time learning martial arts, but still make the same amount of money that you did at work, would you do it?
What would I do?
Would you do it?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I don't think anyone is going to be less efficient. They're going to be more efficient. They're going to find ways to be more productive in areas that they feel
productive to them. Well, see, this is some of the pushback from the have and the have-nots, or the elite versus whoever, quote unquote, the elite. You have individuals that are not the smartest, are not the most anything fill in the blank, because they don't have to be, because they got tons of money, or they could do, you know what I mean? So people around them have to be the smart ones, the agile ones, the protectors, the security guards, the chefs, the cooks, the farmers. Everyone else has a skill. So this is like, I don't know if you ever heard like songs like Eat the Rich and any of those kind of vibe things. It comes from that same sentiment of like, you guys are actually the most waste of space individuals, ironically enough, right? But they're at the top of the pyramid. So with human behavior, it's just natural for human beings to do the least amount of effort to get what they need to get. I think there's actually a couple science things that, with fish, some basically like when it comes, you will put out the least amount of energy. That is your job, like genetically. If you can do the least, you will.
I don't believe that.
So the interesting thing about that is like that works with a small group telling everybody what to do. It does kind of work. But if the majority of people on the planet could literally do whatever they want to do with their time, everyone will be sick. Not everyone, but a lot of people will be sick. A lot of people would be.
I don't agree with that because if you do look at the super rich, for your example, the people who actually invest their time and money, like Formula One drivers, they call it a rich man sport because it takes millions of dollars to actually get in that sport.
Right.
And they are some of the fittest people on the planet. So again, how you use your time is all going to come down to the individual.
Well, that's why I said majority,
but for the most part,
because you got some people that would wrestle all the time. They might do martial arts all the time. They might dance. So that might be the few. But for the most part, and that's also could be manipulated by AI, because even like, for instance, right, Zuckerberg from a psychological profile, I won't go deep into it because he's online looking at everybody, I don't give him upset, whatever. But if he was a tycoon 100 years ago, it's only he wouldn't be trying to impress everyone, I do judo. I'm cool. No, I'm cool. I want everyone to know I'm cool. Like, no, you're not cool. You can never be cool. Just let it go. You're not cool. Not cool. And it's okay. But you have this whole, because we're so caught up in what people look like and their physique is the only reason why people that have free time and all that money invest in that for the most part. Because of what they, it's the looks.
That is true.
If we didn't care what people looked like, first of all, most people wouldn't be working out. Most people wouldn't be jumping into some sports. They're like, because the looks is an after effect of a lot of stuff. Like, actually, that would be interesting. If we lived in a world where people really honestly accepted who they were, like for real, not for play, and did not care what other people thought. Do you think barbershops would be making all the money they're making? Do you think beauty salons would be making all the money they're making?
But again, that was a product of, like you said, capitalism.
And
Had to look the part to get corporate jobs, right? Now, what I'm also saying, if you had $5 million, you did not live in a capitalistic society where you had to spend money to look the part and be the part, have like the most wealth. What would you do with your time? A lot of people, like you said, during the pandemic, started businesses, started hobbies, learned more about themselves, became happier. Some people couldn't do it, some people did. But again, for the most part, as humans, I really do believe that if you gave us the time to actually explore ourselves and be creative and not have to worry about the pressures of how am I going to provide for food on the table? How am I going to pay rent? How am I going to get from point A to point B because my car's broken down? What else could you do with your time?
All right, we got to stop right there because we're at our mark for cable. This is a great food for thought.
Gym.
and we're going to keep this on. I think next week we'll keep this on, but we'll also talk about some movies, some films, and also comic book conventions.